Hey, yo, what it do, what it do? It's your boy Q, and guys, we've got ourselves like less than 2 days from the start of ALGS Split 2 playoffs in Mannheim, Germany. I know I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. We're going to be doing watch parties as much as we can over here all 4 days. I should be able to watch every single series. I don't think I've got anything conflicting in my schedule. Of course, sometimes as a caster, things do kind of get in the way at some point in time, but I figured, you know what, a couple days away, let's go ahead and do, well, like we do a lot of the time over here, heading into some ALGS events. Let's go ahead and get down and do what it do when it comes to a tier list here. And we do have all 40 teams, something to keep in mind. It's going to be a little bit different from the last time that we did a tier list for some competitive Apex. Of course, last time that we did that, you'll see up here, was before the Esports World Cup. Of course, during the Esports World Cup, the qualifying means were a little bit different. There wasn't the group stage where you play each group, right? Because we're separated into 4 different groups of 10, and then you have your top 20, bottom 20 kind of going on from there. It was just 9 teams from each lobby advancing, and then that final lobby only having 2 advancing. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get down to it. I see a lot of teams that I know more up here towards the top as far as where I'd like to put them, maybe a little bit more toward the top of the list. There's also some teams down here in the bottom half that I'd like to put towards the bottom of the list, but I think looking at it here, I think it's going to be most fun to do it in reverse. So we're going to be starting off with the Zolos Laser here, of course, a squad that did make finals, I do believe, during the Esports World Cup. Let me double check that here just to make sure. Flashbang warning, by the way. This is World Cup here, right? Oh, this isn't the overall. I'm still looking for match point. Yeah, Zolos Laser was there. They got through there through their group play again, though a little bit different. They only need to get top 9 in one lobby. I think for right now, I do like the idea of Zolos Laser being a lower finals. Remember, lower finals is still 11 through 30th, so it's essentially your middle 20 teams. I think there's a pretty good spot to put Zolos Laser for now. Of course, we'll kind of adjust as things go along. I do also believe that lower finals is a good place to put KCP as far as for now. I would like to say that I do think the Pioneers would have a good chance of getting up into the finals. I just think as far as for now, for the tier list, we're going to put them in the lower finals. We'll look how the list kind of the lay of the land seems towards the end and feel like if we can move them up from there. Of course, this whole list is fluid, right? You'll have the chance to tell me at the end where I'm right, where I'm wrong. We might slide some people up and down as well. But I think as far as for now, I do think that I got to roll with KCP in the lower bracket finals. I say lower bracket finals, the lower finals here. I think when we keep moving along, when we look at complexity, I feel like complexity is a squad that I could see landing their way into the finals. Of course, complexity, when we look at North America, kind of snuck in there towards the bottom in that 10th position. I feel like they did pretty good in Split 1 LAN. Let's take a, oh, this is Split 2. Let's go to Split 1 LAN here. I feel like we saw Complexity do decent, did we not? Or am I tripping on that? No, they fell out in the lower bracket final in 13th. So they did make lower finals. Do we see them moving on beyond that? I don't know if I do. Honestly, even though KCP finished below Complexity, I still feel like I feel better about KCP right now over Complexity. Not Moist, I do believe, like, is a team that definitely has the possibility of winning. When you look at Waltzy, like, obviously I know Waltzy has been moved into the IGL role with the departure of MT at the start of this split, but Waltzy is a player who, when it comes to LAN, he's always there. I know they fell quite a bit at the Esports World Cup as well. When it came to that final lobby there for Mizuchi, they fell to 12th, but let's not forget, they were on match point in game number 8. They were one of 3 squads that got there in game number 8 after Falcons got there in game number 7. Even listening to some of the players afterwards, kind of talking about the fact that they changed up their play style a little bit. Maybe that changes here now for split number 2 playoffs. Moist did have a pretty good finish as far as for split number 1. So they don't have much pressure as far as once they get, I think even if, as long as they get into the lower bracket finals, they should secure their spot if they haven't already done so for champs. No, yeah, they finished 4th, so they would have already secured their spots. They have no pressure as far as making sure they have a spot for champs. I do think that they've got a really good chance as far as winning. When we look at Bleed Esports, now this is the Bleed roster, Dropped, Knocked, and Shuby. It's not the Bleed squad that we saw at the Esports World Cup, which of course, if we do look how Bleed finished there, I don't think they made it out of their group, right? I believe group, where was B? They're in group A, right? Which is a pretty tough group. Am I tripping? Where was, oh, this is, no, this is, where was Bleed? Guys, am I tripping? Right, so it was Elevate Bleed, it was the combined roster. That's right, that's right. Which was Elevate Gaming, which I do believe they finished decent, right? Were they in the finals? Elevate was not in the finals. They were in Last Chance, though, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like I was mistaken. What? Guys, no, they were in finals. Where were they at in finals? They were finished 11th in finals. Dude, why do I always get lost looking for at least one team of video? Holy smokes. Again, of course, different roster for Bleed than it was as far as at the Esports World Cup. So I think for Bleed, with their current roster, for now, we're going to put them in lower bracket finals, knowing that there's a chance that they can move up into the finals depending on how the rest of the lobby looks. I do feel like I feel a little more confident about Bleed over Kansas City Pioneers. I think SSG just had themselves a rough Esports World Cup. I think they bounce back and at least make finals. Do I think they make top 10? Finished 5th in North America. At the Esports World Cup, they did struggle a bit in that grand finals lobby. I think they bounce back. I think for now, I'm confident putting them in a top 10. We'll see how things go from there. We've got Olympo, which is the old BR Demons roster. Oh, man, I feel bad for always counting the South American squads out just because I don't know as much about them. But when I look at the BRD squad compared to like the Izolo's Laser squad, I just feel like I've got more trust in Izolo's Laser, at least making it outside of the bottom 10. So I think for now we'll have our early exit as Olympo. We've also got SSE X-Ray. That is one of the squads, if I'm not mistaken, that made it in through the APAC North Dream Cup. Bro, they finished 10th in this thing. Honestly, I don't know how they're doing their APAC North invites, bro. They're a team that I don't see. Actually, honestly, they're probably going to be below Olympo, in my opinion. We'll leave them as an early exit. Luminosity, of course, just had a pretty good finish when we look at the Esports World Cup. And even when you look at, what game was it for them? I mean, they had a chance really in both of the last 2 games, but when you look at, it was game 12, the game where the Strafing Flame was able to get the full revive for Twisted Minds. Luminosity had lost a player. They could have gone into that last fight, or that last end game, as a full 3 had they not lost a player. I think it was like in the final ring closing before that, so ring 4, ring 5, whatever it is. Which, of course, would have just bumped them up more. They moved on to match point in, no, they moved on to match point. No, they moved on to match point in game 12, not game 11. But they were also pretty close in game 3. I think Luminosity was close. I think Sweet is one of those names that we always talk about, has like the possibility of winning a LAN. I think he was so close. I do think that he was so close that he could taste it. So I think I'm going to roll with Sweet as a can win. I think that they are going to be a top performer. Now, when it talks about the Reject Winity squad, it is not talking about the Reject Winity squad, that one game number, or that one split number 1. They're talking about this new J squad that just got picked up. They finished 2nd in the region in APAC North. Honestly, I just don't have a lot of faith in APAC North right now. APAC North did not look that great at the Esports World Cup. Outside of Fnatic and the old Reject Winity, I didn't think APAC North looked that great even at Split 1 playoffs. I think I'm going to have to put Reject Winity in bottom 10. In that bottom 10 there. This says Shadow 36 something or other. Isn't that the Weibo Gaming? Oh, it's not the Weibo Gaming. That's another Dream Cup team that got invited. We're just going to put them down there, early exit. Striders. So they're APAC North, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the last team that got in APAC North. Bro, man, again, I just feel like I'm putting a lot of these APAC North squads down here, but I just don't have a lot of faith in APAC North outside of a couple of squads. Yeah, I'll put them there. North Eption even still. Do we feel like they can make lower finals, chat? They weren't even in Split 1 playoffs, right? I don't think. Oh, they're one of the early ones out. North Eption, I think, at least makes it into lower finals. Gets a little bit of a bounce back. I don't think they make it further than that. As far as for now, let's put them in lower finals. Over Izolos Laser? Nah, I think I'm going to leave them as is. Enter Force 36. Another squad that I don't think was in Split 2, right? I don't think Enter Force made it in for APAC North. Nope, it does not look like it. Where did Enter Force finish? They finished right up above North Eption. I don't know, man. Who's on the Enter Force roster right now? Aimbot, Illy, Synapse, sorry. Yeah, I think that's just another early exit squad. Bro, I feel bad, man. I have all these APAC North teams down here. Ugh. Yo, I don't know. I guess until I'm proved wrong otherwise, I can't really hate too much, right? HAO, I believe, did decent. Now I finished 6th in APAC North. I don't think they were in Split 1 playoffs, were they? HAO was in Split 1 playoffs. They in lower bracket finals? Where, so they must have gone out lower bracket round 1 then, huh? Oh, they were dead last. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to talk about early exit for them. GHS Professionals look decent in APAC. Again, man, I just don't have a lot of faith in APAC North. And what is this already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams have gotten early exit. You know what? Let's put GHS Professionals at the bottom of lower finals. I think that's fair. Who's Fennel? Got 4th in APAC North. Again, man, I just really feel like as far as these APAC North teams, even when we look at Nox Fox. 1, 2, man, I just feel so bad for putting so many APAC North teams down there. I don't see it from APAC North right now. I just don't. Like, we can put Fnatic up here as like top 10. Right? And that should pretty well take care of my APAC North teams. But literally, like, for me, it's Fnatic, and that's it in APAC North. Everyone else, I just feel like Fnatic ran away with Split 2 the way that they did. In a region that there's so many questions. And I don't know if it's just because it's a very disciplined region. So with the change of the, like, POI draft and having to no longer, like, have your very set rotations from your set POIs. I don't know if that's a change that APAC North isn't adjusting too well, or what the deal is, or Fnatic's just built different. But until I see otherwise, I can't roll with it. Furia. For now, let's put Fury in the top of top 10. I want to put them in can win. I would love to see Furia break like the second place curse, right? But the question becomes, if Furia is going to break the curse, where does everyone else fall? Because you feel like you have so many other teams, and it's weird. Like, I don't want to say that they're like due for a dub, because I don't feel like that's the best wording. But I'm also looking at my list here. I don't know who else I'm gonna be putting up in the can win category. I mean, Alliance has to play with a sub. Don't know if I've really got faith in anybody else there besides Legends, and that's only if both of their players show up. Which Legends Gaming had a post not too long ago that said that they were locked in for Mannheim, even though Strafing Flame said him and Easy Flash don't have passports. Although, to be fair, I saw Player K just said go pick him up, so maybe it was a debate sort of post that was meant for impressions, and then they're going to post a picture of them picking up their passports. I don't know. But yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Noctum Esports picks up the old Trojans roster from, what, Trojan was EMEA, right? Yeah, one of the teams that just barely snuck in. And of the teams towards the bottom, a team that I probably have the least amount of faith in. Because even though Exo Clan made it in late, we saw the pop-off potential of Exo Clan at the Esports World Cup, right? For Noctum, we just don't know that. I think probably right there is a good spot for him. SWQ, bro, I feel like so many of my early exits are in here early. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, I'm already at my 10 early exits. I don't know. Do we want to maybe move Noxus up here? Because I feel like SWQ, I just don't have much faith in either. They're a team that made it, what, bottom of APAC South, if I'm not mistaken? Of the teams from APAC South, like, it's probably got the least... Like, I'm least motivated by them. Guild has pop-off potential, as we've seen with the late addition of MT. Dreamfire is Dreamfire. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. For Guild, first team that we're putting in finals, I do think. Just simply finals. I don't know if I feel confident enough to put them top 10. I know they just had a really good performance in the Esports World Cup. I mean, when they finish? Finished 8th. They were one of the earlier teams on match point, I think, right? Yeah, on match point in game 10. Yeah, I think I'm confident going there with that. Dreamfire, I do think, goes to lower brackets. Probably feel a little less confident in them than Izolo's Laser. How do I feel about them compared to Northeption? Nah, I think we're gonna go ahead and leave Dreamfire right there. XNY is a team that has crazy pop-off potential. I do still don't feel like they've adjusted the best to the POI drafting system, but I do think they've at least got they should at least be able to make lower bracket finals. Probably above GHS. And I know this is funny because X and Y technically finished above Dreamfire. I'm expecting Dreamfire's LAN experience to bump them up a couple points here. I believe this would be X and Y's LAN debut, right? I do believe, possibly. Yeah, it'd be their first event. So I think I gotta drop them down just a few pegs because of that. VK Gaming out of APAC South. Another one of the teams that does have potential. I think for now I'll put them in the bottom of the lower bracket finals. Makers. First place in APAC South. I think I also have to put them in finals. I also think I got to put them... Can I put them over Guild with MT, though? I think I'm going to roll with Makers over Guild and MT. Legends Gaming. Again, this is simply if they've got all three players, which I'm going based off the fact that Legends Gaming had a tweet earlier today that said that they're locked in for Mannheim. I'm going to put them in can win. I think I got to put them behind Moist and Luminosity for now, though. Passion UA, let them play. If y'all haven't seen what's going on, Max, and I think both of his teammates, at least Maxo for sure, having issues securing a visa to be able to play on LAN. Of course, Max is a player that has technically qualified for every LAN that he's been competing for. Hasn't gotten the chance to play because of the war in Ukraine. I think they should let him play from home. I can understand the worry about, you know, competitive integrity and stuff like that. I just feel like that there are some things that should be made an exception for, and I feel like this is one of them. TSM, I think that they are going to bounce back from not making finals in what was a very rigorous lower bracket final where only 2 teams made it. I do think that they make it into finals. Matter of fact, I think I'm putting them above Makers and Guild as well as far as where they finish. Exo Clan proved it to be hot in Esports World Cup. I do think that they carry over that momentum. Again, I know that the Esports World Cup, a very different setup, very different format than what we have for ALGS Split 2. But I do think Exo Clan does make finals. Go Next, huh? Remind me, how did Go Next finish in EMEA? They finished 5th. Kashera Slab. It is a crypto meta right now, though, which I do feel like benefits Kashera. Go and give me Go Next in finals. But as for now, just in finals. Na'Vi is a team that has struggled with performances when it comes to LAN. Especially when you look at a Matafe, who there are rumors and thoughts that maybe, possibly, not 100% legit when playing from home. I think has struggled to even make a lower bracket finals, if I'm not mistaken, right? Put Na'Vi here, put Reject up here. Yeah, because that still gives me 10 in my early exit. Gaming Gladiators out of EMEA had a pretty decent run this year, finishing 3rd. Of course, that's Lufka Blast Light. Do we feel like they're strong enough to make finals? I do think that is the case. I mean, EMEA just performed really, really well at the Esports World Cup. I do think EMEA carries some of that momentum into split number 2. Don't know if that means an EMEA team necessarily wins, especially because Alliance is playing with a sub. Falcons, we all know where they go, let's be honest. I know that their results haven't been exactly the most consistent during scrims recently. Not exactly sure if I'm a believer in Hal on Newcastle either. But I also don't know who else on that roster takes the Newcastle. I think right now Falcons got to figure out what works for their player composition. But I do still think that they are a favorite as far as for the tournament. I don't think you can count out the super team until proven otherwise. FaZe, another finals team, I do think. Probably right under TSM, simply because I believe in the bounce back story of TSM. Alliance, we talked about earlier, is playing with the sub. With their sub, I don't know if I can put them as a can win. I do still feel like they're a top 10 team though. Probably do something like that. Yeah, probably something like that would be the way that I would go. Cloud9, I think just snuck in North America, right? Cloud9, literally the last team that qualified in North America. Saucer, Chaotic, and Naughty. Oh, a team that just, I mean, name-wise, feels like could have the potential. Haven't seen them pop off yet. Alright, so check this out, chat. I think for Cloud9, I feel like lower bracket finals. And this is where I was talking earlier that I did think Bleed could make finals. We're going to move Bleed up for now. Alright. NRG, of course, had a decent North American performance, finishing at 82 points. At the Esports World Cup. Were they there? They were there. I mean, they are at 56 points. They were one of those teams that I was surprised didn't try and up the pace. Let's leave NRG for a minute. I think Liquid also finishes top 10. I'd probably feel better than them. Better than Furia? Nah, probably not. Probably switch those two there and probably do that. Would be the way that I do it. I think I'm okay with only having 9 in my technical top 10. But I do want to have to switch around some of these things here. To make things work. So I think KCP and Complexity both move up. NRG maybe the top of lower finals. Because then that gives us what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. 10 in the lower finals. Yeah, I think I feel pretty good about that. Maybe even still doing something like this, possibly. Putting Pioneers down there, the lower finals. Again, I think Pioneers I could very much see making it in the grand finals. I know personally I would be cheering for them to get into the finals. But I do think they're going to be one of those borderline teams. One of those like last in if they get there. So I think putting them at the top of lower finals is where I feel most confident or comfortable putting them, especially with the way that the tier list looks like right now. So Falcons up at the top. If I had to give you a top 5, it would probably be Furia up from there in some order, would be what I would tell you. Falcons, Moist, or not Moist. I'm not sure which one it is. I mean, I see on the actual roster, it actually says Moist Esports this time around, so who knows. But yeah, Falcons, Moist, Luminosity, Legends Gaming, if they have all 3 players, and Furia. That's my top 5. Rounding out the top 10, I think pretty consistently. I'm okay with going down here to finals. Liquid, SSG, Fnatic, Alliance, TSM. I think it's a pretty solid top 10 for our ALGS Split 2 playoffs, which means, of course, with it being split 2 playoffs, we still have championships to have here in whatever it is, like a month and a half from now as well. So really excited to see what breaks down this weekend when it comes to ALGS. If you guys are excited and you're wanting to make sure that y'all are having a nice place to hang out for it, make sure y'all are stopping back here by the channel, whether it's here or over on Twitch. We are going to be doing watch parties each and every day. I believe it starts at 4 a.m. Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. I'll make sure I have that for sure down in either the description or down in the comments below. But if it's your first time through over here on the channel, y'all enjoyed the vibes you made thus far. Not only do we talk about ALGS over here, we talk RLCS, we talk VCT. We're probably going to start talking some CSGO as well. Maybe even doing some Overwatch, just talking esports in general. Man, I'm an esports fanatic, so if you guys enjoyed the vibe, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on, and of course, remember every like and every comment down below as well lets YouTube know they should be pumping out the content out to more people. I appreciate y'all, especially if you made it this far here, man. Help me out and just leave those comments. That's going to boost up this video the best that it can. Y'all help me chase down that first 1,000 subscribers. We're almost at 500, man. I appreciate all the support of the most recent videos. We'll catch you back this weekend. So we'll catch y'all back for the next one, man. Don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love hard. All right, y'all. It's your boy Q, signing out.